Hey, Orange One here. So in this video I wanted to go over faction dynamics. A brief overview of what I'm going to be talking about in this video is where you can see your faction relations, how to make them better, how to make them worse, and just some general strategies for what I like to do in this game. So if you're curious where the faction relationships are in the game, if you click on map, or actually any of these options, you can see faction over here and it shows your relationship with all the factions, including some of the minor ones and some of the major ones. Right now you can see my faction with the United Cities is 0. Some of the better ways of getting your faction reputation up, for me at least, has been collecting bounties. And you can also get your faction relation up by talking to some people for the faction and making some donations. Okay, well, that didn't work. Hopefully, yep, we're so sneaky that the dude forgot that we're here. Let's take our backpack off. There we go. So now we've got this guy. If we pick him up, we can go ahead and he's got a bounty on him, so we should be able to go sell him at the police station. So let's run over to the police station. The reason I knew that guy had a bounty on him, I talked about this a little bit in my previous video, but if you click on someone, right here it will show you how much their bounties are worth, if they have a bounty. And if you go to a police station and drop them off, remember my reputation was 0, it should go up after I turn this guy in. So I turn him in, and then I look here at my faction relationship, and look, now it's 2. So my faction relationships with the United Cities just went up by doing that. I like to also acknowledge that you can get your relationship to go up if you heal some of the people from that faction, but it's not very much. So the only other way to really get noticeable changes in your relationship is to talk to either the diplomatic head of the faction or to talk to a pacifier if you're already at war with them. I'm not at war with any of the factions right now. So if I go talk up to Emperor Tengu, he's got some weird dialogue. He I'll just show you what I mean. So he's just kind of messing with you. He's like got some quest that he's gonna give you, and you can read through it if you'd like. But basically he's just messing with you. And the whole crew of people think it's hilarious. But there's this one guy who actually will talk to you and is pretty useful. And I think he goes to like right here. Or somewhere around here. Named Cohen, I believe is his name. Yeah, there he is. I think that's him. Yeah, Cohen. So this guy right here, he's the one that you really want to talk to. So if I talk to him about making an alliance, he's gonna give us 3 options. Either we can give them money, we can do some, I think this is like a taking out some enemies. So he wants us to go for Tin Fist, but you can just go for any old bounty and that'll get your reputation up. You can also donate money. This is not going to be enough money to actually become allied with them. And then the influence option, if you've got a settlement and they think it's worthy enough, then they'll ally themselves with you. He says it's not the most impressive. I think it's pretty impressive, but whatever. And then 10,000 cats will give me plus 60 relations, which is way better than if I had just given him money. But you'll notice that when I ally myself with him, that'll decrease my relationship with other people who will now be hostile to me. So anti-slavers are now hostile, so they show up in red. The United Cities are green now on my map. And it's actually really kind of interesting. If you hover over an ally, they turn up as green on your cursor. Kind of like when you have an enemy, they turn red underneath your cursor. So now these guys are my allies, which has like some really nice benefits. They'll if you get hurt, they'll heal you up. They'll sometimes ignore some of your crimes if you've got really good relationships with them. And if somebody sends a raid against you, they'll actually come back you up. It's really, really beneficial. So, like for example, if I go to war with the Holy Nation and they start sending their soldiers over to my base, the United Cities will send some people over as well. And I'm kind of in the middle, so they'll probably be able to get there in time to back me up. But if you've got like a base set up right here in like the Holy Valley and you're at war with Holy Nation, they're not going to be able to get there in time. But if they are, United Cities will crush the Holy Nation like 9 times out of 10. So they're a really good ally if you're looking for protection. If you have bad relations though, like now these guys, they hate me. If I go anywhere near them, they're gonna try and kill me on sight, and they'll send raids over to me. If you have a settlement, you'll get raids anyways though, so it's not a huge negative, unless you're talking about one of the major factions. Like the United Cities or the Czech, those are the ones that really I get concerned about. I think the anti-slavers are a big issue, but I haven't really played much with the southeast corner of the map, so I'm not 100% sure on that. But then let's go over one last thing. If you have good relationships with someone, you can still hurt your relationships. Like if I attack this guy right here, this is not going to end very well, but now we're no longer allies. And they're going to throw Orange One in jail if he lives that long. But if we look at our relationship, now we're no longer allies. They're actually no longer friends with us. We're not in the negative with them, but they definitely don't like us for doing that. So you want to be careful about who you attack, and you can accidentally hit them with arrows in combat, and that can hurt your relationships with them as well. So just kind of keep that stuff in mind. But yeah, I think that's just about everything I wanted to cover. Thank you for joining me. This has been Orange One.